Hello, it's me, Rob, and I'm uploading this video for, oh, sorry, bit of a word for it at the moment, for Rehearsal Skills 1.1 Personal Goals. Now, I thought the best way in order to sum this up would maybe do a video for it as opposed to having to write down everything in a Word document, because I figure this is a bit less boring for you lot to observe, and also I feel like I could probably sum it up a lot better. So looking at the list of everything I've got to do here, demonstrate effective preparation for each rehearsal. Well, for every single rehearsal that I've been to, I've made sure that I've brought my own jack-to-jack cable, which is 20 foot, it's got its own cable tie. That's incredibly reliable for me, and you know, I always make sure that I bring a good functioning guitar that stays in tune. So I've often changed which guitars I have brought and stuff like that in accordance to what's going on, but I now have a generally good idea for what I will be needing for my 25-minute set when it comes to regards to my own personal equipment. I also make sure that I have a tuner with me, so that if anything happens, like all of a sudden we need to do something in drop C, which in my group is a bit unlikely, I should be prepared. Haven't brought anything like effects pedals. I'll probably do that on the last few rehearsals leading up to the 25-minute set gig, which is in December. So throughout the whole entire thing, I've learnt all of the songs by ear. There's quite a few different songs that we've got to do in a lot of different styles. Okay, showing refinement of personal instrument and vocal parts throughout the process. In order to sum this up, I thought I'd sort of give you an idea of what I used to play for some of the songs and what I end up playing now. So, an example of this would be during the song Counting Stars. I initially learnt the song by watching Anna Staton play it on someone's guitar, and she initially fingerpicked it in a very simplistic sort of and I started doing that a lot more throughout the process, and it all seemed to be it kept that same level throughout, so there wasn't that much dynamic shift at all in the song. And as we progressed and I realised how there was a certain point in the song where Anna's vocals got incredibly quiet, I started to adjust my playing. So as opposed to playing it in sort of like very, you know, sort of like stabby sort of style, instead I've decided to arpeggiate it, and I now do it with a pick. So the whole thing sounds like, you know, and during certain parts of the song, the dynamic range goes right down to the point where the guitar's incredibly quiet. So this just gives the vocals some room. So it's the difference between going like and along with that, the whole group has also, you know, quietened down at that point as well. So that's worked incredibly well. Another example of how my playing has changed throughout the process is with the song Billie Jean. Now, due to people leaving the band and joining the band, my part on that has changed considerably. It used to be that I would basically follow what the bass line was doing with the but when we lost the rhythm guitarist because they had to go to a different group, I had to change my part accordingly, because the part that she played was the rather iconic, which keeps the melodic element in the song. Without that, the song doesn't really seem to work. So I had to sacrifice doing the bass line on the guitar, and instead change to doing that. But in order to keep it nice and full, I also managed to find a way of playing the root note in order to just thicken it up a bit, so it sounded like. And that seemed to work incredibly well. The guitar solo on that, initially it was just me faffing about and it didn't really make that much sense, and now it's a hybrid between the original solo of the and me improvising over it, and that seems to work incredibly well, and it goes into the minor section of the song, and it blends a lot better now. Another example would be with the song Read All About It. This song's quite difficult from the point of view of the dynamics in it, because it ranges from all-out distortion and a lot of power on the choruses to having to rein it right back during the verses and give the vocals some room. Initially, this was rather difficult, but I found ways of being able to achieve this by using the different volume controls on the electric guitar, so I could go from, to, although that's not perfectly clean, when you don't have a channel foot switch, this would probably come incredibly handy. When it comes to me on stage, how I would perform outwards, I have to think about the situation that I'm being presented with. Now, as this isn't a full-on metal band, it wouldn't be very good if I started, headbanging throughout the whole entire set. So, from what I gather, it's going to be a very loose, sort of free feeling sort of vibe going around there. So I'm probably sort of going to hang back and not go too mad, but make it look like I'm enjoying myself. Maybe go over and interact with the backing band and bits like that, of which the rest of the band are absolutely fantastic, especially Luke on the drums. Absolutely fantastic drummer, and Matt is a great bass player. And we're incredibly fortunate to have 3 female lead singers, and they form incredibly big and thick harmonies, so the whole entire band gels together incredibly well. I tend to work mostly with Luke on the drums, because I think from the point of view of that if I'm tight with him, then I should be okay. And he's incredibly easy to work with. He's very, very responsive to what other people are playing. And the great thing about this band is that we're all listening to each other and we're all adapting to what's going on. Let's see. Actively engage with other musicians or peers during the rehearsal process to improve the effectiveness of the rehearsal. Well, yep, I would definitely say we are definitely doing that. And I make sure that I always turn up on time for all of these rehearsals. And so far they seem to be going incredibly well. They're all rather functional, and we always seem to be able to achieve our aims at the end of each rehearsal. We always make progress, and it's like this, it's like a train that doesn't ever stop. We keep on going, and I believe we do indeed now have enough songs for our 25-minute sets. We might have too many by my reckoning, but we're learning what we can, and we're making the songs incredibly tight. We're trying to sort of decide on like running orders and what songs are going to be in the set, and we also got to figure out how long it's going to take and whether we do have enough songs, but I think we're going to be absolutely fine on that. I think the rehearsal process has gone incredibly well, and I also think that I've refined a lot in playing with the band. I've had to do a lot of adapting because it's very different to what I usually do. I usually do stuff in rock groups, so it's usually just sort of like, incredibly loud all the time with a few dynamic shifts here and there, and there's a lot more different styles in this set which I've had to adapt to, and I end up using a lot of different sounds, and overall the whole thing seems to have worked out incredibly well. It's been an incredibly great learning experience for me. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed my 2 videos. Apologies about the first one, I sort of got a little bit nervous because I sort of wasn't quite sure what to say, so I had to take a few minutes to think about what I was going to say about how I refined instrumentally, because I wasn't quite sure how to sum that up. Luckily, good old Gibson helped out there. I hope this wasn't too boring for you to watch, and have a nice day. Hope it's all satisfactory.